Welcome to Elite Podcasts with your host, Mighty RX.
Welcome to Season 3 of the SFL Podcast, where this time around, we're going to hit up the ownership groups of these new expansion teams, find out how they even got the expansion teams to begin with, how they got involved in the league, how they catch wind of the SFL, and more. Can't wait to hear the stories about the ups and downs and trepidations about these first seasons that you just experienced. So I hope you enjoy. Well, thank you for joining us again. And this time I got a goodie. I got a pair of folks that are running a brand new franchise in Indianapolis called the Ramblers. We have co-owner Chad Roland and other co-owner Adam Wiseman. Gentlemen, thank you for making time to speak to me and to let the SFL populace see your beautiful faces and hear your voices and let them know your story. Thanks again. So what's going on, gents? How we doing?
Doing great, Mighty. Thanks for having both of us on here. We're honored to be with you and just have a great conversation.
Sounds good. Adam, we'll get into why you and I don't see eye to eye. But before we get way down that road, if you want to tell us how you got caught wind of the league and then how you got started getting involved with the league.
So yeah, the first SFL game I saw was the championship, the SFL Season 10 championship, Alaska and Tallahassee. I think that was the first one on Twitch, maybe.
Yeah, on the front page. Yep.
And that's how I caught it. And then it was like, it's a cool thing, but I don't know if that's really for me. And then when we got the TV deal with 11 Sports, I saw a game on there and went, wait a second, I remember this. Now it's on TV. All right, I got to check this out. So joined then, and I think a week later is when they did the non-contract, the first non-contract signings.
Okay.
And so that was season 13 and joined then, and been in the league ever since.
Nice. Who'd you join?
So Denver.
Okay.
So won the championship, which maybe kept me sticking around a little bit longer, and definitely kept me in Denver.
Okay, good stuff. Speaking of, no, we weren't the first one on Twitch. The season 9 championship game where Ray Bentley basically ran roughshod over that poor defense was the first one we had on Twitch from the front page. We just happened to have the following seasons. So, Chad, how did you catch wind of the league and what made you want to get involved?
Yeah, so I was looking through YouTube one day, I think, and this was right at the beginning of season 13, and I was looking up All Pro Football because I wanted to see if anybody still played it. I always enjoy watching like different people do franchises and what they do differently with this and that. And so I saw this game between, I believe it was Baltimore and Vegas, week 1 of season 13, and I was like, okay, like this is awesome, right? This is before the TV deal was announced.
Was that the block punt game when Vegas had like 3 crazy block punt? Okay, yeah.
I believe it was. I was like, this is wild. Like, this is all pro football. Like, this is a game that I enjoy playing. I'm like, I got to check this out. And then, joined a server and was able to become a non-contract rookie in Baltimore that year. So it was kind of cool that like the first game I ever watched was Baltimore. The first team that ever contacted me was Baltimore, and then I ended up signing on with them. So it was a pretty cool little thing. Pretty cool.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, I remember you. You were at one time you became the GM over Baltimore, and then London tapped you. And even though London and Baltimore don't see eye to eye, that's a different story for a different day. So, okay, Jen. So we know how you got into the league. We know what got kind of piqued your interest and wanted you to jump into the league. But we got plenty of people in the league that just happen to be in the league. So what made you gentlemen want to step it up a notch and want to get involved in scouting, coaching, running the front office? Chad, if you want to go first.
Yeah, so when I first met TJ, the owner, one of the co-owners of Baltimore, I told him, I've always been one of them guys that really just runs my own little leagues here, like locally. And so I was like, I think this would be really cool to run a front office, like to be able to be a GM and this and that. I believe at the time, I wish I remember the guy's name that he had as GM in season 13. Mr. Clinton was his username, if I remember right. But So, I had talked to him about it. I talked to TJ about it. I just kept asking TJ questions like every day, just about, the league and how it works and this and that.
Yeah.
And then we went to the playoffs that year. We beat Atlanta, I believe, in the first round. And that night, TJ asked me if I wanted to be the GM for the upcoming season. And I was really excited about it and joined up as soon as I could. 4 went to draft because I was a high draft pick, in season 14, but decided to stay there in Baltimore and learn from who's probably considered one of the best coaches / organization builders in the entire SFL.
Yeah, definitely. And also, now that you say that, welcome to the Baltimore tree. I'm part of that tree.
Yeah.
Ramos, Damon.
There's a lot of us.
Eddie. Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, that's quite a fruitful tree he has over there, Baltimore.
Right.
So, Adam, what made you want to get involved in the capacity you got involved in Denver?
Yeah, so I kind of always wanted to get into the coaching side of things from when I got in, because I played all pro when it came out, and had it for a while. So, I kind of understood the game a little bit and wanted to kind of do more of that once I kind of got into the Denver locker room and kind of saw how it worked. And from then, the first year of the SFLM, I applied to be a head coach, and they gave me the Birmingham team, and so from there just started coaching, and then had a good season in Birmingham where we went to the championship game, lost a tough one in the end, and from there I was kind of just hooked on the coaching side of stuff. And then when Jeremy retired the second time from coaching, he had kind of picked me out. We had been talking for a couple seasons, and he asked me to be the head coach after him, put me on the staff as the assistant coach, and for the season 16. So I had to see how Jeremy kind of did things. And that's kind of how I got into the coaching side.
Okay, that's dope. That's cool. The reason why Adam and I don't see eye on okay, you gotta understand. We played in big games where the Storm, see the logo behind me? We did not prevail against the Night Wings. Though I love Jeremy Vega, Jizzy Hands like a brother, there are times when I see him, I just get from my sight. And Adam is part of that clan. When it was time to vote for expansion, Adam can tell you, like, hold up, Adam is going for teams. Nah, I ain't voting for them. You lucky I like Chad. That's the only reason why I would for you. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just Adam. I wouldn't have voted for Adam.
Well, that's why we had to hook up together. I needed somebody to get your vote, Mighty. So I had to go with Chad.
So okay. So now we're touching on that. Actually, you know what? Before we touch on that, so Chad, you're in Baltimore. TJ hands you the reins, basically assemble the talent so I could put them together on the field and capture my vision and keep the ball rolling. Not even get this ball rolling, keep the ball rolling. So now, how does London go about tapping you on the shoulder? Hey, want to come do that for us over here? How'd that go down?
Yeah, so at season 15, I left the league for personal reasons. I had some things that was going on, and and so I took care of business, as you will say, on that side. And then once I always kept an eye on it, right? Because I really wasn't fully gone, but I left the locker room, I left Baltimore. And I knew if I came back, I was like, I want a challenge, right? Not that Baltimore wasn't a challenge, but I mean, the team is just well put together, right?
Is that why you didn't want to come over here? That's why I challenged. Oh my gosh. Anyway,
I'm sorry. I wanted a challenge. So when I looked at the landscape of the SFL, I knew there was one team. And I was like, you know what? I said, London is just in such bad shape. Going from the top down, right? And Liam will admit that to you. And so me and Tanner had always kept a working relationship together. He was somebody I was actually going to try to get in Baltimore a couple times. And
you talking about Tanner Hendricks, right?
Yeah, Tanner Hendricks. Yep.
Okay.
So Tanner and I started talking, and I was like, I think it'd really be an interesting ordeal to come over there and just take a team that's at the bottom and bring them up, right? And have that challenge. And he really liked the idea, and so Liam, him, and I got into a three-way conversation, and the rest was history. Liam took a back seat and let me have full reign, full control. I didn't expect to be the head coach in season 16, but it happened. So it is what it is. I learned, on the fly. But it was I enjoyed my time over there. I learned a lot from myself. and Tanner and I really worked well together. Liam, kind of chimed in every now and then, just kind of had somebody to bounce ideas off of. And, in season 18, he really kind of jumped in and really helped me with nobody, as I was telling you before, that was helping me out there either. And we took a team that won 7 games in 3 seasons to winning 18 games in our first ever playoff appearance and our first ever playoff victory against Jacksonville. So did a lot. And, it was a hard decision to go for expansion. But at the end of the day, it was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up and wanted to have Adam alongside of me. And here we are.
Cool. Now, how, what made y'all want to link up together to put this expansion bid forth?
Yeah, I mean, what's crazy is that I met Adam. We live 20 minutes away from each other, which is crazy.
that's convenient.
And seriously, it took a trip to Houston to meet. Right, that's how crazy this is.
Yeah.
So went down to the convention. Finally met Adam for the first time, and we had chatted back and forth a little bit. Just hung out. Really talked about the idea. That was kind of when the idea blossomed of the possibility of teaming up in Indianapolis. And then when I kind of figured out, like when we had like 40 or 50 players and the incoming influx of rookies was really, starting to jump up.
Yeah.
I had to put in the thought like, hey, like this could really happen. Like Indy, this could be the chance. I know I'm building something great in London, but this may be my shot. Right. And so I was like, if I ever want to team up with somebody, I want to team up with somebody that knows the city of Indianapolis, that loves the city of Indianapolis. And there's nobody more like that than Adam. Right. I mean, Adam lives literally like a stone's throw from the Indy 500 track. So,
okay, there we go.
So yeah, I mean, it was a perfect combination. His coaching experience and my GM experience. Just putting us together, I think was a dream team in my mind, and we're really happy that this has happened.
Okay, so that explains Indianapolis. So I guess that also plays into why y'all are the Ramblers as well, because of y'all trying to keep it the same theme, right, Adam?
Yeah. So we wanted to go with a racing theme, obviously with kind of how close I live to the Motor Speedway. Growing up, how much racing's just a part of this city, and we had some early ideas, but unfortunately those are trademarked, so we couldn't get them. So we came up with Ramblers, and actually the Rambler engine was one of the was used back in the 70s, I believe, at the Indy 500. So it ties in with the Speedway.
Okay.
And just kind of, once we kind of, Chad kind of said that, I was like, you know what, I really like that. It's different. And that kind of works for us and still has that theme.
Cool. That's dope. That's dope. So now you've thrown your hat in the ring. You're amongst another group, a multitude of other expansion hopefuls, and you get your team. You're excited. You bid your old team adieu. Bye, Denver. See you later, London. And you combine forces, right? So now you have your leaders of your own squad. Speaking of leaders, let's do this. How does the hierarchy work in Indianapolis? Y'all are the corners. Are y'all also coaches? You have coaches under you? How does that work, and who's involved?
Yeah. So, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Okay. So we kind of split it up where, because of Chad's experience on the front office side of things, my experience on the coaching side of things, that's how we've kind of split it. Is he handles a lot of the front office duties, and I handle all the coaching duties. But at the same time, Chad was running a lot of the offense last season, because obviously his offense in London was amazing to kind of watch as he grew that. And I was just running the defensive side of things, for last season, and chiming in here and there on the offensive side, but really kind of let Chad do the thing on the offensive side. And then we have Chris Britton as our general manager, who's helping us with a lot of scouting in the minors. On the coaching side, we have Colin Pierce as our offensive coordinator too, who's been working with Chad.
Okay, good stuff.
Kind of getting him some experience in the SFL. And right now that's everybody.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So do y'all have a DOC? Do y'all have a social media person, or those are still kind of up in the air?
It's me running that part of it, because the front office side, it deals with GM, the DOC, just the football operations side of it, right? And then and that's me and Chris. And then on the coaching side of it, Adam runs the scouts and the coordinators and all that stuff. So we really split all the duties up 50-50.
Okay, understood. Yeah, we in Florida, we have our front office is kind of bloated. We got a lot of people involved. I try to be as hands off as possible and let the talent shine. And I know how much work that could be for one person to have to handle. Being the one-stop shop, which is fine if you're a control freak, but it will wear on you. So I would, so if you're able to, kind of take someone under your wing and show them the ropes and explain to them how you want things to be done, but to let them have kind of like form their identity in it, right? That's the best way to go. Matter of fact, today, my our graphic artist in Florida, Amanda, who is Adrian Blaine, our free safety, she hits me up. As your graphic designer, here's some logos, and you need to throw them on Twitter, sir. Like, yes, ma'am. No problem. I am not arguing with you today, right? So it's just I know y'all are brand spanking new. We're about to go review the season in a second. Y'all are brand spanking new, but yes, don't be afraid to accept help, and then just have a modicum of patience, because sometimes people they bite off more than they could chew, right? Because they're like, oh yeah, I could do this, and they're like, oh wait, this is a lot more than I expected, right? Because you don't want to kind of run them away from the task. So if you gotta keep the training wheels on and take one off, and eventually, hey, look, you can look, man, no hands, right? So, but before you get to there, you gotta kind of walk them through it. So that's that. So season in review, right? So before we go there, the floor is gonna be yours. What did you feel, or how do you think, looking back at the season, now that you're not in the season, looking back at it, what did you think about your performance overall? Both on the field. I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, Jalen. 1 second. Both on the field and also in the locker room as an experience.
So go ahead. I think really, and Adam can attest to this too. I mean, our mission really was to just start everything from the ground up, right? To build up the culture, to build up the book, see what we have, right? And really, we said we could go one win or we could win 12 games. Like, we didn't really care at the end of the day. We really just wanted to see what we had, figure everything out together, learn to work together, right? Because that was one of the main things. And then go from there, right? And so I think really, winning the 3 games, it wasn't like, everybody may think of it and looking like, oh, well, that's only 3 games won. It was not a good season. To me, it was. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So, you got to take your time and really just develop everybody. And, we're developing a brand new GM. Me and Adam are learning to work together for the first time. And, being able to trust each other, right? Because, Adam has been doing a lot of coaching on his own. I was doing a lot of coaching on my own in London. So learning to trust each other and see how we could benefit each other in our game plans. That was a big key. And so now it's time to turn the car on, right? Turn the engine on, start it up and get going. And I think we've been, doing that so far in the offseason, been pretty aggressive, working with the books, working with game plans, testing free agency out and all that. So, we're looking forward to this upcoming season for sure.
Okay, cool. Now, Adam, what do you think about how your locker room was throughout the season with the ups and the downs and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so I feel like for the first season, we had a really good locker room. It wasn't quite as active as maybe we wanted, and that's something that we're kind of looking to kind of build on in this off season. But we bunch of good guys in there. There was, they kind of understood that, hey, we're an expansion team. We may not be 12-0 at the end of the season, and maybe more like a 3-9. And so as we were kind of building it, the locker room was kind of building too. So from that standpoint, it was a very successful first season.
Okay, good stuff. So, time to hit it. Week 1, we faced the old squad, right, Chad? Like, we faced the old squad. We're in there. We're competing, and the game kind of starts to run away late. With week 1, everything's up in the air. We haven't won a week 1 game I'm sorry. This was our first week 1 win in like 6 seasons. So week 1, who cares? Throw it away. Right? Week 2, let's talk about that one. Right? Biggest comeback in league history, 30 points. So tell me this. I'm going to ask each of you this question, right? You're down 30-3. No, 33-3. Sorry. Yeah. You're down 33-3. Adam, at that point, during games, do y'all have are y'all in the voice chat for the locker room, right?
Yeah.
How did you feel, Adam? And then what were you telling the guys at that specific point again?
I think at one point we changed our entire offensive playbook for the next week in the first half, and our minds in that locker room. It talked about it because, and then as it kind of went going, we're like, wait a second here. And you're kind of thinking about it like, wait, we're still in this. Like, let's go. And then it was just a play after, I think we got a pick. Like I think we scored and then we got a pick right after that. And it was like right then where, kind of everybody in the voice chat, we started going nuts. And then it was just kind of like, hey, we got nothing to lose. Let's do this. And yeah, when we won that game, the voice chat was going nuts. And both me and Chad kind of had to kind of back away for a little bit because it was, that first win and then doing it like that kind of hit home. So, that right there kind of made our season. We got to have one of those moments. So from there, it was just kind of, just trying to see what we had.
Okay. So Chad, you're down 33-3. You're like, okay, all right, let's get ready for Tulsa, right? But at that point, what's running through your mind? How are you, and what did you say to kind of rally the troops to kind of keep them engaged at that point in the game?
Yeah, I mean, when you're down 33-3, and it was like not even the end of the first half, you're thinking, oh man, like this is bad, right? Because we really, in all honesty, I think we played really well against London. We only lost 30-16, but we were really in that game like the whole time. They didn't blow us out like they blew out everybody else, right? So, which you find out later on in the season. So, but and Adam could tell you this is crazy. We kept watching that game against Canton. And they kept doing that damn split jacks formation or whatever it was, right, Adam? I can't remember exactly which one it was. And they kept running that play and running it over and over and over again. And I kept telling Adam, like, dude, we are going to take advantage of that play. Like, if our defense is set for that, right? Me and Adam just kept going back and forth. Like, if they keep calling that in the second half, I said, they're toast. Like, this is going to be bad for them. And we ended up scoring a touchdown, I think, right at the end of the half, I believe. Blake Prine got a pick 6, if I remember correctly. Was it Blake or was it Bryant? One of them two.
It may have been Ernest.
Yeah, Ernest? Yeah, it may have been Ernest. I can't remember. One of them guys got a damn pick 6. And dude, before you knew it, I kept saying it. I'm like, dude, they're gonna keep going to Jack Wall. I said it when he was in Jacksonville. If they keep, I asked Adam, I was like, anytime that a team that I've played focuses on Jack Wall, I beat their ass. And here we were, and it kept going to them, and we just kept picking it off one after one after one. And so it ended up coming back. To have that as your first victory, it was exhausting. I think by the end of the night we were done.
I can imagine.
So it's the one you'll always remember, right? Everybody remembers their first victory, but we just got a little spice on top of it because it happened to be the biggest comeback in SFL history.
Yeah, that was something, right?
Yes.
It definitely. I would definitely throw that on a plaque somewhere and be like, hey. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as a business owners they'll save that, they'll frame that first dollar. That's the first dollar I ever made, son, right? That's just a thought, right?
That's not a bad idea. I may do that.
Just a thought. So the following week, I guess, you ride the high and now you got to ride the low. You're at Tulsa, ambush, right? So we're not talking about that. You play Sioux Falls next, and then you got Queen City where you basically run out of time, right? Heading into the bye week. So now you got the super high with the crazy comeback, and you got the 3 straight L's going to the bye week. How was the locker room at that point? Like, what was the mindset? What was the sentiments going around the locker room? Sitting at 1-4.
Yeah, it was. It was a little tough, obviously. Seeing those last 3 losses. Obviously 2 of those were division games. You know, Tulsa was I always just have bad luck against Tulsa and Sioux Falls. It just always happens. And Queen City, I believe, was a team we should have beat, right? I believe paper-wise and everything, we were head to toe better than them. We ran out of time, right? Like you said. And so, heading into the bye week, we knew we wanted to get things going. We wanted to change some things up. We changed some things up, myself and Adam included. And then I believe that's when we played against Motor City.
We'll get to that in a minute.
But yeah, it was, the locker room. But here's the thing, though, and like Adam kind of touched on it earlier, right? These guys knew what they were getting into. They knew that they were in a locker room that was building from the ground up. They knew that, we were going to take some L's and it was going to happen. But it was really about the future, right? We weren't thinking about season 19. We were thinking about season 20, 21, 22, so on down the road, right? And, they were all in good spirits. They were cheering every game. They were in the locker room. Everybody was really just boosting their teammates up, right? It was something I really just enjoyed seeing, right? Because I wanted to see, like, okay, how are we going to handle a 3-4 game losing streak, right? How's the locker room going to be? And they really surprised me. They really stepped up and, put this team on their back and was able to, cheer everybody on when we were down a little bit.
Okay, understood. So now week 7 occurs. Home against Motor City, right? We lick the wounds of the running out of time against Queen City. We revisit what we've done wrong or what we did. So now we're kind of understanding our talent a little better. So we hide what we can't do, and we kind of accentuate what we can do. And then Mr. Jones throws on the cape and says, "I got y'all, dog." And 6 touchdowns later, good God Almighty. So Adam, yeah, for win number 2. I will say this, okay, before y'all win in style, okay? Like the first win's for big comeback, second win, that's 60 burger. Why not? So Adam, that game happens, and you're like, okay, what's your thoughts?
So yeah, I think that week after that was right after the bye, so we made some changes to the book, and it was kind of, I think, both me and Chad's kind of first thought going into Motor City. Like, we put a book together. I ran a sim and we won like 70 something to 3. I ran a second sim and it was like, again, like 60 to like 14. And me and Chad were messaging each other, and I was like, this is weird. I've never had 2 sims exactly the same. And I think that was it. I don't think we ran another sim the rest of the week. We said, that's the book. And so the game happens, and I'm sitting there the whole game just going, oh my God, it's happening. Like, it's almost like that. Hey, you can't actually have your sim run the same on Cam's Xbox. It's possible.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was kind of, come out of that. I think we were on kind of a high again. And I can't remember. Did we play Baltimore the week after that?
No, you played DC the week after that, it was a close game. I believe y'all lost by 3. Like the rest of the season, all the games are competitive. Like besides let's
just throw Baltimore.
Baltimore, all the other games are competitive.
The Baltimore game, you get the block punt or a couple fumbles on the kick returns, which you can't really help, and that game got out of hand, but we still played them really tough. Yeah. So we actually came out of that Baltimore game with a lot of confidence, even though we got blown out, because it still wasn't, it wasn't as bad as it should have been. We weren't dominated.
Yeah, I got you. So I see there's a little rivalry brewing between y'all and Minnesota. We're going to get Minnesota later on this offseason and have their side of the story. So explain to me what the rivalry between y'all and Minnesota, because the way y'all go at each other on the social mediums is interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, so once we figured out that, we were more likely, once we figured out it was going to be 4 teams, myself and Adam were very confident in the fact that, that we were going to get one of those 4, right? And, because looking at who else was putting in a bid, I was like, we got to be in the top 4. If not, then it's embarrassing. I must misunderstood everything that I've never done. So, once I heard about BJ and Axel, I was like, they're going to be in our division. Like that's what's going to happen, right? They're going to create the Central Division. You're going to see us in Minnesota, probably Tulsa, and then God knows who else from there, right? There's different options. So, myself and BJ and Axel and Adam, we all got together and was just like, look, man, like Vice Wars is crap. Let's just call it like it is, right? I mean, it's just garbage. It's all it is. All it is uniforms. And Adam can attest to that. He was part of it.
I was like, don't drag me in
I mean, no, I love Vice Wars, so that hurts.
But in the past 2 seasons, it's not been like any type of, I think of a rivalry. I think of like talking smack on social media and going after in chat back and forth.
Yeah,
There's
thanks. I know I didn't coach well against Vegas when I was there. I get it.
I wasn't saying it like that.
No, yeah, but yeah, that was kind of, yeah. Don't bash Vice Wars.
See, now I made him mad. I made him upset. But yeah, so anyway, in my mind, it's not, as good of a rivalry as it could be. Let's just put it that way, right? Maybe I should have said it like that, Adam. Sorry. So, that was one of the things we wanted to do, right? One of the missions was, okay, we want to make Minnesota versus Indy, the Monsters versus Machines, the best rivalry in the SFL, right? Mm-hmm. And we had ideas, and we all went into it thinking, okay, if there's any sort of bashing, just leave the mothers out of it, right? Like there's a line you hear on Anchorman, right? Leave the mothers out of it.
Yeah, unlike that dude on college football that went at who's that? The tight end, the former tight end for the Patriots. The dude that went he came at Ben Watson. He came at Ben Watson.
Oh yeah.
Let's leave the women out of this. It's between us.
Yeah, leave the women out of it. So we and everybody was on board with it, and so the smack talk started really early, right? And it's still continuing to this day. Like, I mean, we any chance we get, we go ahead and talk smack. Like, I've been doing SFLN broadcasting now, so I had a couple weeks ago I had Mickey Malello as my color analyst.
Okay,
he's the Minnesota kicker, so I was like, this is odd to have a fur ball in the booth, right? So just little odds and end things.
Yeah.
We had they have the check engine light, and we have the Legend Killer shirt, right? And so that was one of the things we wanted to do was have apparel, right? And then we've got a bunch of different ideas down the road for the future and stuff of this rivalry. So it's good to have 2 other owners like Axel and BJ that really are all about it as well.
Yeah.
And it's just made it a lot of fun, and people really now look forward to anything that goes on between Minnesota and Indianapolis.
That's dope. I enjoy. Now, mind you, I'm not much for trash talk. I'm the complete opposite. I'm the type that likes to silence trash talk. I like quiet, right? So so when we had our little run for 3 seasons, it was like that's why I used to post the whiteout, because it was so quiet. It was serene. No one could. Oh yeah, we won it. No, Joe, nope. None of y'all won anything. Serene. I like it. Peaceful. So because I was. Listen, I'm diminutive, right? But I got a Napoleon complex out of this world. So when I used to hoop, I never talk trash. I was like Stockton. They ain't no talking trash. Just know that when the game is over, you'll be sitting on the sideline, quiet. Can't say a word. Well, I scored 15. You're still sitting on the bench, my boy. Doesn't matter. Yep. So I'm the complete opposite. Well, though I do enjoy this Minnesota Indy. You know what I'm saying? I like that banter. But let's get back to the season. So week 10, y'all are at Mini. They got y'all, right? It's there, but they got y'all. So okay, no problem. They got that one. There's a rematch coming shortly thereafter. Y'all are at Charleston. Doesn't wind up going your way. Got the bye week. Again, so at that point, you're 2-8?
Yes.
You're 2-8 with 2 left. Locker room is still a beat because they're like what they're seeing, or they're like. And also another thing, did any of the new players rise up? Did you see a leader in the locker room kind of grab the mantle as I'll be the guy to kind of Adam, Chad, I got this. I'll be the guy to kind of chat, to speak on a regular basis and be the voice of reason in the locker room. Adam?
I was gonna let Adam.
Oh yeah. I think there's a couple guys. Chris Britton, our GM, he stepped up in the locker room. Ernest McCrae, we've got Bryant James, for a young guy was in there and talkative. Blake Prine was another example. Colin Pierce. I mean, a lot of them.
Good.
I'm sitting here going through it. It's a lot of them. And
That's great, though. That's great. That's awesome.
You know, it was still upbeat because again, we were close. You know, it was, you know, I felt the whole season we were, you know, a couple plays away in a lot of these games. And you know, so it was kind of that was kind of how the group felt too, the whole locker room.
Okay, good stuff. You know, because what Pacino say? He said, "Football is a game of inches, right?"
Yep.
Any given Sunday, really? Any given Sunday? No. Any given
Yeah, I don't remember that scene, but yeah.
Really? Like he had a he had a soliloquy. He had a monologue about football, like going into the final game where he's addressing the team at halftime because it's looking bleak. They were playing. I think they were playing against whose team? Oh,
Playing the Dallas team, right?
Yes, they were playing the Dallas team, and they were down at half, and that's when he went off that soliloquy about football is a game of inches.
That was after what's his name got injured, and then Beeman had to go back in, right?
Yes, that's right.
Oh yeah,
that's right. So coming out to bye at Carolina, another right there. You know, a ball bounces here and there, and it then scores in your favor. The rematch at our house, right? At our house, and then y'all take this one against the Minnesota Legends to remind them who's the big piston. I don't do car. I don't do car analogies. I'm sorry, I'm not a car guy. I'm a truck guy, not a car guy.
There you go.
So 3-9, right? Not the best, not the worst. You show promise. There are you see certain strengths on the team, certain things you do well. You see certain weaknesses that could be fixed in the draft or the free agency, or even maybe a change in philosophy that might help hide certain things that you don't want to expose too much of. So I'll say it. To me, I don't, like you said, Chad, it's the record doesn't play much at play because the team was involved and they were enthused and they understood the process and they know that you're in this for the long haul. This ain't fly by night or anything like that. So that's great and everything. So we're gonna spin it around a little bit. So y'all are both in the league. I've been involved in the league in different aspects or whatnot. If there was one thing you could either improve or change in the league, what would it be? Chad, you go first.
Oh man, it's so mean.
I'm glad he did.
Yeah,
I'm coming your way, Adam. Don't worry, I'm coming your way. You ain't safe.
I mean, here's the thing, right? I mean, like the good thing about the league is that, you know, when we need changes, it seems like things get stepped up and get done, right? Okay. You know, all of us owners get together. We just got that with owners meetings not that long ago. And there should be some processes that get improved and this and that. You know, to me personally, I don't know anything off the top of my head right now without getting into like a deep dive of whatever.
I mean, Chad, we got time.
I mean, we do have time. I mean, the one thing I think that probably needs to change if we're going to go in this direction, we're going to do deep dive is some of these results that have happened, right? That, you know, obviously if there's an issue where something has happened and they need to do a replay of the game or whatever reason, it seems like there's nothing really like, I'm a project manager in real life, right? So not having your processes written down is kind of a thing in me. So, you know, in a situation where you have something that happens and they're like, oh, what's the ruling on it? And then there's no ruling. Then it's like, oh crap. Right. And the PM in me is like bells and whistles and everything are going off. So, but I do know that that's something that is being worked on. And so, which is good because, you know, people like me and other people that have stepped up and had conversations with Cam about it and, you know, and things will get done. So, but that's really the only thing off the top of my head that I could think of right now that probably would change. But like I said, right now, it seems like that is going in that direction. So take it like it is.
I got you. And Adam, how about yourself? If there's one thing you could either improve or change, what would it be?
Yeah, Chad sucks because he took what I wanted to say.
because we've
No,
talked.
but right. I mean, this is why we're such good co-owners, is we think the same way.
Yeah.
But no, I think kind of along those same lines is kind of what's next for the SFL. Like what's the next 10 seasons look like?
Okay.
Are we sticking with what we're going with now and just hoping that works out, or what's the next step? And improving kind of our Cam does a great job on the presentation, but kind of improving on that, getting more eyes on it, growing it as much as we can. Because I think kind of going certain routes, I would rather stick with more of the TV route than going more to online, trying to get it more eyes on it. And it seems like, right now there's that chance to grow.
Okay. Understood. Very good. So, okay. So now we've come to the part of the show where the floor is yours, gentlemen. You have my ear. Ask whatever you may please, and I will answer.
Can I see your defensive playbooks?
I'm not the defensive coordinator, so sure, that's fine. I'll show you my defensive playbook. It's not the Storms. It's mine, because I don't run the defense. Art's the head coach and the defensive coordinator, so I'm not the one. So I'll show you whatever you want to. Yeah, no, that's fine. Hey, that's why I say ask. I'll show you defensive playbooks. That's no problem.
Oh man. I'll let
no, I think that was kind of, again, just kind of what's always been your philosophy with APF, and kind of what would a week look like for Mighty going into a game? Like, how much time are you spending scouting? How much time are you spending, just simming?
Okay. Going into the playoff game against the Scorpions. I think I got the picture on my phone. I sent Eddie a picture after the playbooks got turned in, because I wanted him to know how much I respect his coaching acumen.
Yeah.
Okay. This was as of Monday night. Let's go back. As of Monday night, going into, really? What is it? I think I had 665 offensive plays as of Monday night. Going to face Eddie. So if you're asking me what's my philosophy when it comes to all pro, it's leave no stone unturned. During the regular season, I might not go that deep. The play might blow up to maybe 300. 350 tops on a Monday, and I'm using Monday, Tuesday. Seeing that the playbook due date has been pushed back a day. It used to be Fridays, now it was Thursday. So it'd be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I used to kind of knock out all the junk, so I'll get down to around 100-ish, and then I use Wednesday, Thursday to fine tune to see what works and what doesn't against an upcoming opponent. And that's every week. That's why I stated, like, being the one man, you know what I'm saying, the one man shop. Oh yeah, you'll burn out quick. But that's my process. Is always leave no stone unturned. Because though I know Ron's strengths, weaknesses, I know Bullet's strengths, weaknesses, all my receivers, my O-line. Depending on the matchup, that might vary. Where I might be able to hide the weakness enough, at least for that week, right? If I'm facing a team, like, let's say we're facing a team that does not cover the short to medium sidelines, we might run a ton of out routes. We might run a ton of flat routes, right? That week. But the following week, if we play a team that plays a lot of either too hard, too soft, or even two man, we might have to switch it up a little bit and attack a different area of the field. So the playbook might look differently from week to week. Like I am T-Pat. This is where T-Pat and I differ. T-Pat will do minor changes. He believes in minor changes to playbook tweak here. I don't. I believe wholesale. Like I could easily go back to back weeks, 20 up, 20 down, 20 up, 20 down, 20 up, 20 down, 20 up, 20 down. So by the time that fourth game arises, like between week 1 and week 4, you got two completely different playbooks.
Yeah.
Because my mindset when I first got the Storm is to be very almost, though I'm not a fan of the Patriots, was to be very Bill Belichick like, where we we play several different opponents throughout the season. We cater our playbook to without one specific opponent. That's the only person we're worried about this week. I'm not worried about 2-3 weeks from now. I'm worried about making sure I take care of this one. When I'm done, take care of this one. We move on to the next one. We got a big saying in the locker room: "It's 1-0 every week." We don't look at the schedule. It's 1-0. Who we got this week? Oh, we got Denver. The objective is 1-0 this week. I'm not worried about Jacksonville next week, Atlanta the following week, Arizona 3 weeks down the line, Louisiana at the end. I can't, because if I'm looking at them, I lost to Denver.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, before the games you play, like, so my ultimate focus is on Denver. So what does Denver do well? Ooh, they like to run the ball. Where? Up the gut. You know what I'm saying? Towards the strong side, towards the weak side. They like to throw it deep. They like to throw it short. Short where? Middle. Flats. Outs. Okay. What can we live with? What can't we live with? And if they beat you with what you were willing to live with, you shake their hand at midfield, say GG, and move on to the next game. But that's my my mindset is make them do stuff they're uncomfortable doing as much as possible, while taking what they're willing to give you as much as possible, and then let the chips fall where they may. And more often than not, it works.
That's good advice. That's damn good advice.
So, but that's where it's great that y'all got a two-headed monster in the coaching booth, so that way one person can focus on offense only and the other focus on defense only. And then late Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is when you kind of meld it. All right, what you got? What I got? Put it together, see what the sim looks like. But yeah, I'm my Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I'm not simming a thing. I don't leave the practice field.
Yeah.
I'm strictly practice.
Yeah.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, practice only. Like, I don't sim. There is no refs. You were throwing flag, none of that. There's no crowds. It's just us, and just making sure that can we execute these plays. And I'm not talking about once. I'm talking about consistently. Because it's one thing you call a play, scores a touchdown. Great. What happens the other 9 times?
Yeah.
Right. I'm big into if the play results in a turnover, I don't even think twice. It's gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much exactly kind of what we do, right? Like I told, Adam has seen it, but I'll take a play, for example, let's just say like a strong power out of the strong power I formation.
Okay.
I'll run that 100 times. And my baseline is, does it get 5 yards at least? Right. Especially in a run, because you want to average. Like in my mind, I think if you're averaging 4 to 5 yards a run, you're doing something
good.
right.
Yeah.
So I look at it like, okay, how many times does that play out of 100 get over 5 yards?
Okay.
And if it's a certain percentage, like a high up here, obviously, but if it's a certain percentage, and I'm like, okay, that's getting thrown in the book.
Okay. See, guys, I gauge more. You know what's funny? I gauge more execution than results.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So if same play, if the guard pulls and misses that outside linebacker, that drives me insane.
Yeah.
So I'm not running that play.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But if I run a play that everyone executes their assignment the way they're supposed to, but the play doesn't go the way I think it should go, I might let it ride, because in game, if the guard pulling or the tackle pulling or the tight end gets his seal the way he's shown the whole week in practice and in sims, we're gonna get a favorable result. He's gonna seal that edge, and your running back's gonna get to that edge, and it's just gonna be the running back in the corner and running back in the safety. And I'm sorry, I like my running back over your safety, right? Okay, so that's where I might. That's where I differ from you just a little. I don't gauge the result. I gauge the execution. Same way with quarterback, right? If the O-line protection holds and the play we call the routes we call, the spacing is proper, and the quarterback throws to whatever receiver and it gains yardage, I'm gauging, okay, can he do that again and again and again? And if the execution's there, we're good. I don't care if it went for 8 yards or a touchdown. I just want to make sure my quarterback's able to execute that play consistently. Because if he decides to throw it to the opposite team yeah, that play might not be run every. I enjoy possessions too much. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't understand throwing possessions away. I'm not off. Chad, you gotta understand. I'm not an offensive guy. I'm a defensive guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Defensive guy. Like, talk to Eddie. Eddie will tell you turnovers never, unless you talk about pastry. We don't like them.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and I was the opposite when I was in London because we had, I couldn't get Merrill figured out, even though Liam got him figured out this past season.
Yeah.
I couldn't get Merrill figured out for nothing. And so that's why, like, I had to look at builds, and that's why Pickler's build worked so well with my offense, because it was like, okay, I got Vin Calia, I got Mike St. Green. Like, I'm just going to throw the ball damn day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know I'm going to throw picks, and that's fine, but I'm scoring over 40 points a game.
Okay.
I'll let it ride. You know what I mean? It just depends on how you have your team.
No, but it's great because that shows me that you're able to cater your offensive philosophy to your personnel, which is great, and exactly what I meant by when I said we want to be more like the Patriots, both offensively and defensively, so week in, week out, we cater our playbook to what we're about to face, season in, season out. We cater what we do to the person we have. So that's the mindset, at least offensively, of how we do things. Defensively, we're just getting away and hopefully we're getting away enough to force a punt and then do it again.
Well, and with the playbook rules as they are, like, defensively, we can change our books up every week and do it with the changes we have if you have your book set up right. So it's every week defensively we're doing something new, hopefully.
Yeah.
If not, it's something that works and we're going to keep doing it. So it's offensive. That's all Chad. And I try to, I think I got more in the way than this season than I should have, but
what's crazy is like I said, I mean, being able to learn and work with each other. Right. So obviously Adam with building, having that offense in Denver, having the offense he had in Birmingham. It's always nice to be able to bounce ideas off of somebody, right? The same thing he did with me, right? I don't know a lick about defense, at least being able to put a playbook together when it comes to being really good with defense. But, he still bounced stuff off of me, right? Or I would see something in a sim like, hey, maybe we could attack this defensively, all this stuff, like just throw out little ideas. And he did the same thing. And that's why we have so much respect for each other, because we were able to, that's what I was saying before about being able to trust each other, right?
Yeah.
And, knowing that, he may be the defensive guru, but he knows, he's run offenses before. And I maybe the offensive guy, but I've, at least had some kind of input in defense. And so, being able to bounce stuff off each other like that is really what's made this relationship work well.
So for season 20, we're flipping roles, right? Chad, you got the defense. I ain't gonna.
Oh God.
I'm good. He can have the stress of the offense.
Yeah, he will not take the offense at all.
Oh man. No. All right, so gents, okay. Do y'all have any more questions for me?
Not I can think of. I mean, really, that was. I mean, the question I was really going to ask, in all honesty, is exactly what Adam asked. So, being able to hear that, really put some things in perspective. So I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem at all. Like, my DMs are always wide open. Many people have taken advantage of, many people have not. So if you ever have a question, don't be afraid to shoot me a DM. I'm pretty timely usually, unless I'm asleep. If I'm asleep, I'll hit you up first thing in the morning. So I got you there. So no worries. So if that is all, gentlemen, it was nice to have y'all on. So for Adam Wiseman and for Chad Roland, co-owners of your Indianapolis Ramblers, I'm Mighty RX, and we're out.